Hello, my love. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Boujee Astrology, and we are going to take a look at the astrological transits of August 11th to August the 17th. Now, whenever we get into this vibration, the very beginning of the week is still a carryover for whatever was happening last week. If you go back to the month ahead forecast and even the Mercury retrograde video, I specifically said the vibration that starts to go through around August 7th is directly going to feed into what we get into through August 12th. They're very, very much connected. So I want people to be aware that even though that we start the week with the moon in Pisces, we're still kind of in full moon vibration. And I don't feel like we get the full click of everything from what was meant to be seen and understood in that full moon until we get to the moon in Aries this week. And that's actually going to be a part of Tuesday going into Wednesday, just so people are aware, because that's when the moon is actually going to make the conjunction to Saturn, make a conjunction to Neptune, again, aspect that Uranus, aspect Pluto, and hit in opposition to Mars. So it's like ding, 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 ding. But there's a lot of times that whenever we need certain confirmations to the vibration that comes through in a full moon, we don't fully get it until that moon comes around and hits conjunctions to the rulers of said full moon. Well, we get both of those this week, and we're going to start it when the moon hits that conjunction to Saturn and Neptune. The only reason I'm including Neptune in that conversation is because, again, Neptune and Saturn are very hip to hip right now. But then by the end of the week, when the moon goes into Gemini, it will also hit a conjunction to Uranus. And whenever it comes to the vibration of this week, the way we are dealing with something on Monday, Tuesday time frame, it's not directly going to feel the same as whatever we're dealing with once we get to the end of the week, because there's two very specific patterns in the vibration that are going to be happening. And I do feel like they're connected, but they're not going to feel the same. So there is still the confirmation of certain things in the pattern, having certain meetings, having certain things brought to light, having certain things come around. Whenever it comes down to it, there's something a much more clear, precise, and matter of fact. Because before we get into all of that, we also have one other thing occurring. And it's one of the very first things we start this week with, and that is Mercury turns direct. Mercury turns direct. No more Mercury retrograde. Over, said, done. Done. That's how we are going to start the week, because in the overnight hours of Sunday going into Monday, Mercury retrograde will end. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. This Mercury retrograde has brought things to light. It has changed our opinion. It has changed the way we looked at certain details. It has changed certain facts. Now, in some ways, we're seeing that in how it connects to other people. In other ways, we're seeing the reflection within ourselves. We had a plan of action, a pattern of things that we were doing all through the summer. And then Mercury went retrograde, and we realized, some of this doesn't fit quite the way that I thought. We've had some time to change our opinion. We've had some time to reflect on what we've done so far. We've taken on certain information. We've had certain lessons in the vibration. And Mercury had this way of setting our head straight to streamline some things, streamline our opinion, streamline the plan, streamline the direction, and put some things into place. Now, for some people, that still resulted in exposure because it was still a Mercury retrograde in Leo, in the sign of the sun. For some people, the exposure was having parts of the ego exposed. Now, for some people, it has been the fragile ego, and I've talked about that before. And because you saw the fragility, you saw the negative parts of their ego, of how they handled things, of how certain things have come across, it's like, oh, maybe I don't vibe with you. Maybe you're not quite the person that I thought you were. But on the flip side, for some people, you saw the authentic ego. You saw how people handled stress and tension and struggles, and it solidified, oh, yeah, I mess with that. I'm totally on board with your energy. I can totally work with this. And it's put something else into perspective. There is a perspective shift going into this week. And part of the perspective shift is one going to come with some level of final lessons. And that's more part of the beginning of the week. And I'll get to that here in just a second. But by the end of the week, it's going to put some things into motion. It's going to put us into a series of connections, a series of appointments, a series of activities, a series of planning, a series of bouncing around and working some things out and getting some things logistically handled. There'll be a lot of busybody energy that goes into the end of the week and even takes us into the start of the next week. And there's a couple reasons as to why. One, again, the moon is going to go re-aspect all of the planets that were heavily activated throughout the full moon whenever the moon goes into Aries. But that is simultaneous to a Venus-Jupiter conjunction in the sign of Cancer. Now, if you go back and listen to either the Mercury retrograde video, the month ahead video, and even parts of last week, I kept saying there's a benefit even if we're going through tension. Even if somebody pushes our buttons, it's like, oh, thanks for helping make this decision so much easier. Goodbye. Deuces. So long. Don't need you. I'm out. And because we're out, because we're willing to go in a different direction, because we're willing to shift our motion forward, because we're willing to shift our opinion, because we're willing to try something else, do something else, go somewhere else, there's like an immediate benefit that comes through because Venus is going to hit the conjunction to Jupiter. Now, this is going to be felt the most exact between August 11th, 12th, and 13th, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Now, Venus hitting that conjunction to the Jupiter is going to, for some people, you are going to be the Jupiter person. You are going to be the person teaching someone how to renew, how to heal, how to focus, how to take steps forward. For some people, we're going to be seeking the doctor, the guru, the teacher. I just need you to tell me how you did it. I just need some guidance. I don't need you to give me all the answers. I just need perspective. I know you've done this in the past. I know these things have worked in the past. I need to know what actions to take. What is my plan of action from here? I'm willing to walk away from this. I'm willing to no longer be a part of this. What do I do from here? And there's some level of need and support with Venus hitting the conjunction to Jupiter. In a lot of ways, it is a result. Can it be an emotional result? Absolutely. Can some of us be in our emotions because something happened during the full moon? We feel like we need to walk away from certain people, or we feel like we no longer have support from certain people. Can you be in your feelings about that? Absolutely. If you thought you had the financial support of your dad, your uncle, your grandpa, your grandma, your somebody, and suddenly they don't support you anymore, we can go into little bits of spirals of like, what do I do now? How do I make this happen now? I thought I had the backing. I thought I had the money. I thought I had something. And in some way, you just lost it. So we seek guidance. We seek out help. We seek out information. We seek out something else with the idea that it's going to benefit us. Now, sometimes the guidance that you get is going to be bittersweet. And you will have some people out there that are going to hear, you're the problem. Sorry for you. Go do the work. Get your shit in order. Because obviously, whatever came through in the last few weeks while Mercury was retrograde was showing you that you are not in alignment. Because a lot of the energy has either been shifting you deeper into alignment or showing you where you are not in alignment. Some people won't like the lessons, but you still need to hear them. You still benefit from them in some way, letting you know what work needs to be done, how we do something moving forward, how we take steps moving forward. Be very aware of what comes through in that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because it's still feeding off of the full moon. And it is also giving us a result. It is giving us solutions. It is giving us lessons. It is giving us guidance. Some of us, we are going to be in the position of giving guidance. And for some people, whatever that solution is, it's what leads to the end of the week with the steps that get taken next. If whether somebody is going to go in a different direction, build off what you've taught them, build off what we've learned, because there is a vibration that starts the most exact around the 14th and continues into next week, the 18th. And that is the sextile between Mars and Mercury. Now, again, we start the week with Mercury turning direct. But the thing is, when Mercury is stationing to go direct, he's exactly that. He is spinning in place. He ain't doing a whole lot. And there's going to be some people that at the beginning of the week, they're not doing a whole lot. Even if you get some kind of news, get some guidance, we don't initially know how to make steps with it. We need even more time to mull it over, think it over, put some things into perspective. Mercury is spinning. But in this moment, Mars is going to come hit a sextile. And the thing is, this is the second sextile between Mars and Mercury this round. It's the second one. We had one back in early June. And there are going to be elements from June that have led us to this moment, that has led us to the steps forward, that has led us know our actions forward. And Mercury is going to hit a sextile to Mars. Now, Mars will continue to move while Mercury is spinning. Once Mercury starts moving again, he'll continue. And there will be a buildup of energy, a buildup of focus, a buildup of need, a buildup of priority, a buildup of, again, putting things into motion. And every time we confirm little things, Mercury, once he's direct and starting to move again, it's going to feed into action. It is going to feed into purpose. It is going to feed into the new vibration, the next level of vibration. It's feeding something forward. And there will be a bit of a momentum. And that's going to be parts of the end of the week. There will be a purpose. Many of us will be walking with purpose by the end of the week, moving with purpose by the end of the week. I have a plan. I'm putting my plan into action. But we're not taking immediate action in the sense of like, I booked something on Wednesday and by Friday I'm a rock star. No, it's not that. It's more along the lines of like, I'm going to call this person, this person, this person, this person. And the idea is that I want to book an analysis, analyze, do whatever, have additional conversations, put some things into action, get some things on job sites, get some things put into the house, get some things done, get some things. But it's more along the lines of booking, making appointments, making a plan. It will not completely feel like action is taking place right then. But remember, this Mercury retrograde was setting us up for eclipse season. And in my opinion, because we have 2 new moons in Virgo, the first new moon in Virgo, it's initiating the vibration of eclipse season. It will not solidify until we get to the actual eclipse on September 21st. But we don't solidify everything until Mercury leaves shadow. But now that Mercury is direct, we can start solidifying the new plans, the new vibration, the new things that we're going through. And a lot of us, that is our plan of action this week. Our steps forward into new vibration this week. That is our plan. That is our motion. Be aware of what came forward in that full moon in Aquarius with all of those outer planets. For some of you, it was internal because you listened to me. You listened when I said, do not engage, take a step back, Don't trip over it. Don't mess with it. If people are going through crazy, let them go through crazy. That's their crazy to deal with. Don't take the extra energy on. And y'all did exactly that. You're like, log out, sign out, phone on do not disturb. We do other things, not going to engage with all this other drama. I just want to purge. I don't want to know what's going on. Because again, it wasn't your energy to deal with. So you did have some energy happen. And you had that judgment. You had that frustration. You realize we have to make certain decisions. You realize you have to pull back on some things. You realize you have to take accountability in different ways. You realize certain things. Some of you, you actually spit the fire out and you told that person, I don't accept your words. I don't accept your judgment. I don't like your tone when you're talking to me. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not dealing with you, whether you like it or not. I'm going in another direction. How this has worked for you, how this has landed for you is different for everybody. That's that human effect that I harp about all the time. But whenever it comes to the vibration of whatever happened last week, it is feeding into this week. But for a lot of people, this week has a benefit and how we put some things forward and how we put them into motion. There's a purpose. So let's get into the week. Let's get into the mess. Let's get into the transits. Let's get into Monday. Now, Monday, we are starting off with the moon in Pisces. I got it right here at 13 degrees, 3 minutes. And there's a part of the transits that started late on August the 10th that are carrying us into the 11th. And that is the moon going through this trine to Venus. Now, this is really closer to exact around 12:15 a.m. So what I'm saying is like between 11:30 and 1:30 a.m. This is when we're going to feel this one the most exact. But the moon is going to hit a trine to Venus. And then a couple hours later, I'm going to keep this going just to kind of keep us in purpose. The moon will go through its exact trine to Jupiter. Now that's felt more exact between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. So it is the most exact right around 2. But it's the moon in Jupiter's sign. Jupiter is in the moon sign. They're in mutual reception. So whatever Pisces and Cancer rules for you, there's an understanding, there is healing, there is emotions, there is certain things that are coming to terms. But I think it's interesting that the moon goes through the trine to Venus and Jupiter right before their actual conjunction. And again, their actual conjunction is going to be in the overnight hours, the 11th into the 12th. Some of us are going to be reaching out either late Sunday night or early Monday morning to set an appointment. Hey, I did this thing in the past. I liked the way that it looked. I liked the way that it tasted. I liked the way that it felt. I liked the vibe. I like what you do. I'd like to pick your brain. I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to get some insight. Can I connect? Can we come up with something? Can we go for coffee? Can we hook up over Zoom? Can we do something? Can I get you on the phone? I got questions. I need to understand something. And some of us, whenever the moon goes through the trine to Venus, again, late on Sunday night, it's like you send the verbiage out, and some people are going to get an immediate response within like an hour or two. Other people are going to get the response the next morning. And that's that human effect. And considering, again, Venus and Jupiter have not hit their exact conjunction yet, it's like you get the confirmation the next morning, like you send the late night email, go to bed, wake up the next morning. Yeah, I could totally do coffee. When do you want to meet? I can totally do a meeting with you. I'd love to have some time with you. Yeah, let's do that. I'll help you out. No problem. For a lot of people, there's foreshadowing Sunday night in the overnight hours of Monday, going into Monday, that are letting us know the meeting that we're going to have, the energy that's coming together with the Venus Jupiter conjunction. Now, as we continue throughout the entire day on the 11th, this is building. So for some people, you will have the meeting on Monday. For other people, human effect, it's going to be a part of Tuesday. But understand that we've got some kind of support, some type of meeting, some type of positive result that's coming through in the vibration because of this Venus Jupiter conjunction. For a lot of people, it's very, very positive. Okay. Again, the moon's going to hit the trine to Venus between 11:30 on the 10th and 1:30 a.m. on the 11th. The trine to Jupiter is going to be between 1 and 3 a.m. Central Standard Time. And what I love about this is right as this is all going on at 2:30 a.m. exact, Mercury turns direct. We're done with Mercury retrograde, babies, right there. In this energy of like, I want to just get some guidance from someone else. I want to get confirmation from someone else. I want to hear from someone else. And it's like, because we've accepted our part in where we need to seek help, where we need to seek a guidance, where we need to seek support, or where we're willing to give guidance and give support. It's like there's something about that confirmation of Mercury going, clarity is coming. Mercury goes direct. There's a solution. Even if we don't see the solution all in this individual moment, there is a solution on the horizon. So again, a lot of people, whatever this vibration is, it's going to be either part of late Sunday night human effect, or it's going to be Sunday night going into Monday, or all Monday morning, depending on like your sleep schedule and how this all pans out for you. Now, we're going to keep this going because we have another energy that's building all day. And it's going to take us back to take us back to one timeline, but it's also setting the stage for an initial vibration for what will be coming in January. And that is all day we have this sextile building between Saturn and Uranus. The last time these two had a sextile, Saturn was in Pisces, Uranus was actually in Taurus, and that was back in April, exactly April 4th of 2025. So we were still in Mercury retrograde back then, and we were in a Venus retrograde back then. So there is certain things from our prior timeline that is also feeding into this right here as to what we'll be meeting about, what we are starting, and what we are willing to take forward. Because again, with Saturn now being retrograde, we're not, some of the prior responsibilities or prior engagements that we were doing, we don't wish to do them the same way. We want to do something else. We want to do something bigger, something grander, something that feels spontaneous or exciting. And that too feeds into the layers of where we need support in the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. So we're going to keep this going. Now, there's a lot of internal energy that's kind of coming up. Some people are feeling very, very hopeful. Some people are feeling like they need to let something go and they need to heal. Right around 10 a.m., I got this screen at 9:30, the moon's going to hit this conjunction to the North Node. And I'm specifically bringing this up because, again, Venus and Jupiter are hitting their conjunction. The moon is in Jupiter's sign, Jupiter's in the moon sign, and there can be very faded connections, or there can be the groundwork for what we will be amplifying and doing once we go into eclipse season, because the nodes will still be at 18 degrees in eclipse season. The first eclipse is going to be the Pisces eclipse, real eclipse, not the first new moon in Virgo. That's September 7th. So we can be laying groundwork right here for stuff that, again, is going to be a part of eclipse season. And again, that's September. So be aware of the vibration that's coming through, because we're putting a lot of things into motion. We're setting a stage. Now, when the moon hits this conjunction to the North Node, this is going to be a lot more of an internal vibration for a lot of people of like, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I feel like I'm getting there where I need to go. I feel like this is going to work. I feel like I'm healing. I feel like I'm getting support now. I feel like I've got something else going for me because I did walk away. Some people, you didn't get pushed away. You walked away. And because you walked away, you feel like something else is falling into alignment. And that's a good part of the energy. For other people, whenever we have anything tied to the North Node, it's like about desires, but it's like ego-like desires. So if you're feeling certain desires come throughout the day on Monday, do your little bits of checks and balances as to what you're feeling and what you're kind of going through. And there can still be downloads right here. I like the fact that when the moon hits the conjunction to the North Node, it's not seeing eye to eye with the sun. So I feel like there's more of an internal vibration of things that we want that we didn't know that we desired. But it's like we're getting them. We're manifesting them. I didn't know I wanted this yet. I didn't know I was ready for this. I didn't know this was coming, but I like it. And I really do love the moon in Pisces right now. Now, Again, the moon's going to hit the conjunction to the north node around 10 a.m. Again, this could be the overnight hours. That's when we start hitting our meetings and stuff like that from what happened in the overnight hours. We're in the Saturn Uranus sextile all day long. It's actually not going to go exact until the evening time. And I'm going to put this down 10:30. Here is Saturn 1 degrees 12 minutes. Here is Uranus 1 degree 12 minutes. And I love this being a part of the Monday vibration, being a part of the Tuesday vibration, because I feel like whenever certain things go into motion, going into Tuesday and Wednesday, that it's very exciting for a lot of people. And it's almost grounding in a lot of ways in regards to like what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to build and what we're trying to do. Now, again, we're in the Saturn Uranus sextile all day long. Saturn is now retrograde. So it's like there is awareness of certain energies that are pulling back, or I'm not responsible. I'm not working with them. I'm not committed to that anymore. Something else is finally coming to the forefront, finally coming to light. And Uranus being direct speaks to this first wave of something new coming to light. And I do mean first wave. We're not going to go many more past a first wave, but like internally, there's a vibration that's coming through of like, I didn't think I wanted to do this until next year, but I'm probably going to do it. I'm probably going to try it. I just want to try. There's nothing wrong with trying it. I can try it in this way. And you're right. There's nothing wrong with trying. But there is some part of the vibration that speaks to, I'm going to try this one thing and I'm going to no longer be a part of another thing. I'm not saying you're making the decisive decision here. I think the awareness of, because I'm not responsible for something anymore, now I can do this. Now I can try this. Now I can be a little bit more bold. Are we doing all the boldness at 10:30 at night? No, we're not. We're going to get into the 12. And right after that midnight hour at 12:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, that Venus Jupiter conjunction that was building all day on the 11th, now it is exact. You can see it right here. Again, Jupiter is in the moon sign, the moon is in Jupiter sign. But what I think is really interesting is when this is happening, the moon is void. What does that mean? Is whatever we are connecting about, we're not immediately doing anything with it. The moon's not making a bunch of connections. It's not making any sextiles or trines or anything like that. So it feels like there's still an internal vibration that's going to lead to some external things. And I feel like the external is going to be more a part of once that moon goes into Aries. And that's not going to happen till roughly around 5:33 a.m. Central Standard Time. So I got this now at 6:30. The moon is now in Aries. Now, what I said in the beginning is I feel like the next wave of whatever got activated in the full moon in Aquarius is going to hit when the moon goes into Aries, because now the moon is in Mars' sign and we're willing to take certain actions, but we want to be sure about these actions because Mars is in Libra. Mars is in Venus' sign, but Venus just had that Venus-Jupiter conjunction. We feel a certain kind of support, a certain kind of necessity, a certain type of luck in regards to the new steps we're taking forward. And now we're more likely to have activity. We're more likely to go out and text some people, meet with some people, have a few connections. Some of us, it is on Tuesday, whenever the moon goes into Aries, that's whenever we go talk to that person that's giving us guidance, that person that's giving us hope, that's giving us support, and letting us know the actions that we can take moving forward. As soon as the moon goes into Aries, it is immediately very, very busy. Talking to the elder, talking to the guru, talking to people that are giving us guidance, letting people know final little steps of like, I'm not responsible for this anymore. And sometimes there's just layers to saying I'm not responsible. It's not that you're breaking up with multiple people, over and over again. It's more along the lines of like, you did the major ending breakup. I'm not going to work for you anymore. But then there's all the phone calls going, did you quit? You're not going anymore? You're not doing this anymore? I had no idea. What happened? And some people just want to know what happened because they're gossips. What happened? Tell me everything. It's none of your business. Don't worry about it. I've got something else going on. I got other things I want to work on. I have other things I want to do. And a lot of things are going to be exactly that. It's telling people, just the next layer, the next round, the next level of things that have already been released, that have already been a purge, and is allowing other things to come through in the connection. And this is a really exciting version of the moon in Aries, and it doesn't feel nearly as critical or as volatile or as tense and emotional than what we've had for basically the last year. Let's be fair about that. This is basically the last year. Okay, moving along. We're going to get back into it. Moon in Aries. Now, as soon as the moon goes into Aries, is a busy, busy baby. Between 6:30 and 8:30 a.m., I got it now at the 6:30 mark, the moon's going to hit that conjunction to Saturn. Simultaneously, it will also hit that conjunction to Neptune. That's going to be a little bit more exact around that 8 a.m. spot. Well, at 8:30 spot. So between 6:30 and 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, we're very, very aware that the moon is going to be hitting those conjunctions to Saturn and to Neptune. It is also hitting a sextile to Uranus. Remember, Saturn and Uranus, they just had their exact sextile very, very late on the 11th. And we're still in that vibration of being aware of the excitement, being aware of something that's unfolding, being aware of something new that we're about to start doing, that we're about to start taking forward. There's so much awareness here. And sometimes this is where we start talking to people about it. This is where we're announcing certain things. This is where we're putting things onto social media. There's certain things coming to light. Can some people be upset about it? Absolutely. Is there going to be still reflections of like tension and judgment that go back to what was that ever, whatever was unfolding in that full moon? Absolutely. There's a big possibility of that. However, that doesn't mean that we're not still moving ahead. Now, between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., so I'm not even bumping this, the moon will also go through a sextile from Pluto. So we have all of these same planets that are being activated from what we were dealing with between the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And I feel like there's the next round, the next level of things that kind of came to light or were uncovered throughout the full moon. Between the 10:30 and 8, I'm sorry, 8, I can't talk now. Between the 10:30 and 12:30 time frame, so we got this now at 11:30, the moon in Mars' sign is going to hit this opposition to Mars. This feels like permission. This feels like actions. This feels like activity. This feels like, again, there's something about the processing, the planning. There feels like some commitments. There feels like guidance. Mars is in Venus' sign. Venus still in that conjunction to Jupiter. There feels like there's benefit in the actions that we're taking, in the moves that we're doing going forward. And I want people to be more hopeful in this vibration than feeling tense. But there can still be a little bit of tension because it is still the moon in Aries. But I feel like he's a lot more motivated to get something put in perspective, to get something going forward than anything else. Now, between 12 and 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, so I got this now at 1:30, the moon is going to go through a trine with Mercury, and Mercury again is newly direct. But this is the first aspect to Mercury since he's gone direct. And there can be certain information that's being exchanged. There can be some appointments that are being set. There can be some guidance. There can be some communication. There can be some plans about what we're doing now, what we're doing next, awareness about what has changed in the plan, what has changed in the trajectory, what we're doing moving forward, what we want to do now, where we recently have had some type of turnaround in our opinion and our ideas with the moon hitting the trine to Mercury. What's different? And some of us are going to be voicing what's different. Some of us are going to be learning about it from someone else. Oh, yeah. I've decided that next year the kids aren't going to go to public school anymore. They're going to go to private school. Moon trine Mercury. Our opinion has changed. I'm not working with them anymore. I'm going in this other direction. Moon trine Mercury. Mercury newly direct. But there's still an awareness of the guidance and the actions and the activities of what new is coming through. Now, there can also be precursors with the moon hitting the opposition to Mars and the sextile to Mercury. There can also be the precursors of what our new momentum is going to be, what that new purpose is going to be as we progress through the week. But Mercury's sextile to Mars is not exact quite yet. So it could be the warning and the precursor, not the full confirmation. It could be more along the lines of, yeah, I got one or two more things I got to do this week, but then by the end of the week, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go to these meetings. I'm going to go talk to these people. I'm going to put this in motion. I'm going to get this filed. I'm going to get this going. I'm going to deal with this thing. And there can be, again, be the precursor to what we'll be dealing with at the end of the week. So be aware of that. It is a very busy lunar morning whenever it comes to Tuesday. After the moon's trine to Mercury, there are no more direct transits. So I do feel like there's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of things going on, a lot of action in the vibration, a lot of movement, a lot of like pickup in our energy. When we get into the 13th, there's not a whole lot going on in comparison to what was going on the 12th, but there is still energy that speaks to direction and focus, and that's what's going to be coming through in the early morning time. Between 5 and 7 a.m., so I got this now at 5:30, the moon, 14 degrees 6 minutes, is going to go through a square to Jupiter, 14 degrees 8 minutes. Again, Venus and Jupiter just had a conjunction. The moon is not necessarily in either one of Venus and Jupiter signs, but it's more in the complexity of layers. We have three signs kind of being all working within each other. The moon is in Mars a sign, Mars is in Venus a sign, but Venus is in the moon sign. We have this like trifecta thing going on. And it's all in cardinal energy. So it's all about like this new thing that we're starting. And the moon hitting the squares here can have questions. It can give intent, speak desire, give motivation, give direction, because the moon is in the higher authority to Jupiter, who is the doctor, the guru, the teacher, giving guidance, telling them what we've decided, telling them our opinion, telling them what we're going to do next, telling them the shift in the routine. Between 7 and 9 a.m., so just bump this a couple more hours, the moon will then hit the square to Venus. This is the desired outcome. This is the desired result. This is how we're moving forward. This is our plan of action. This is what we're starting. This is the goal, but I mean now the appearance of the goal, the result of the goal, my anticipation of the goal. Are we reaching goals in this moment? Not necessarily. Now, some people could be questioning the appearance, the cost, the taste of something, how it will appear. And we just have to, again, get people to trust. Mercury and Mars are getting closer to their sextile. It's not exact yet, but a lot of this is about our purpose and our plan of action. And again, some people can question the plan of action. Some people just need the direction of what the plan of action is going to be. Are we doing all the plans in this moment? Not necessarily. Human effect is going to be different for everybody. But there's a lot of things kind of like putting something forward. And again, once we get into Wednesday, that's when we're going to really feel that energy shift. Monday and Tuesday feel like one thing. Wednesday kind of transitions us. And by the time we get to the end of the week, it's a very different vibration. But none of it's bad. So we're going to keep this going. In the evening time, between 5 and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, so when I get this to 5:30, the moon in Aries sign is going to hit the trine to the sun. So here's the moon, 21 degrees, 11 minutes. Here is the sun, 21 to 25. So we're just before the exact trine goes exact. And this is fire to fire, passion to passion, actions to ego, support of the ego, support in our desires, expressing desires to someone to be like, heck yeah, I mess with that. I want that. I'm down with that. Let's do that. And with the moon hitting that trine to the sun here, it feels, again, supportive, understanding, passionate, driven, motivated, passionate to do something, to understand something, to go with something, to put something forward. We're not all putting things forward all at the same time. With the fact that Mercury is still at that 4-degree mark, there's going to be some things that we're not immediately doing, but our clarity in the mental vibration is getting better and getting more substantial. So we're going to keep this going. We're going to get into the 14th. Now, in the overnight hours between 2:30 and 4:30 a.m., so I got this now at 3:30, the moon is going to hit the conjunction to Chiron. And I always feel like Chiron is very neutral vibration. Chiron, again, is the wounded healer. And there can be like the internal understandings of this is how we fix something. This is what we're going to do with something. This is how we heal it. This is what we're doing. Now, can we also have awareness of like past wounds and what we do to overcome and to heal? Absolutely. Chiron is retrograde. So part of this can speak to past wounds that have inspired the current action, that have inspired the current steps forward. For some people, it's like the only way that I'm going to be able to get over it is to do something different, to take control of what I need to do, to push a different agenda, to push a different mindset, to push something else forward. The moon hitting the conjunction to Chiron really speaks to the awareness of a solution, the awareness of wounds, what we're doing to heal them, what we're doing to fix them. And there can be things both positive and negative, but again, this is very neutral. So a lot of people were just expressing what we're doing next with the idea that it is a healing vibration. Not a terrible energy at all. After the moon hits the conjunction of Chiron, those overnight hours, the moon is going to be void. We can welcome that. That means we can sleep a little bit. At 8:22 a.m. Central Standard Time, the moon is going to go into Taurus. The moon loves being in Taurus, but now we have a different form of mutual reception. We started the week with the moon in Pisces. So the moon was in Jupiter's sign, Jupiter was in the moon sign. Now the moon is in Venus's sign and Venus is in the moon sign. So we're back in mutual reception. We're back in levels of understanding. We're back in this areas that exude I want to feel solid. I want to feel safe. I want to feel secure. I want to like the food that I'm eating. I want to like the places that I'm going. I want to feel solid in this moment. And for the next 2.5 days, while the moon is going through Taurus, there is this desire for being solid, healed, and emotionally able to purge, setting up some things that are going to be long-term engagements, long-term connections. Because while we go through the moon being in Taurus, we also get that exact sextile between Mercury and Mars. And again, it starts the 14th. That's going to be the second of the series of 3. Some things are going to go back to the early June that are coming back around in this vibration because we're taking something to the next level. But whatever we're taking to the next level, we want it to be solid. We want it to be safe. We want it to be there for the long term. And the actions that we are taking, Mars in Libra, again, speak to something that is going to be identifiable, safe, and stable. Moon in mutual reception to Venus in Taurus. So whatever communications that we're going to start, whatever the plan that we're starting to move forward with, once the moon goes into Taurus on August 14th, it's like we're wanting to set certain things up for a long haul, long-term vibration. I want this stuff to go well. I want it to work out. I want it to be solid. So let's get into that. Now, moon's in Taurus, just like I said. There is going to be some things that can speak to power struggle or certain kind of triggers. And you can always have 1 or 2 people that kind of trigger insecurity in you. Because the first thing the moon does have to deal with once it goes into Taurus, it has to go through a square from Pluto. Now, that's between 11 a.m. and 1 a.m. Central Standard Time. And this is where you can have 1 or 2 people try to put a bug in your ear, letting you know you're not as hot shit as you think you are. But Pluto hitting the square to the moon, at least Pluto is retrograde. So it seems like if somebody tries to say something to you right now with all the other transits the way that they've been this week, if they trigger insecurity, it's very short-lived. Like it's like as soon as somebody says that wrong thing, you walk out of the house, you get into the car, you go get your coffee, you go start your day, you go do something and be like, you know what? They don't know what they're talking about. I'm not going to fail. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what I've been working on. I know what my goals are. I know what I'm going to achieve. Screw them. And if we have certain things speak to like the trigger of fear and frustration with the Pluto square, just know it is a very short period of time. And then afterwards, it feels like things get very, very solid and continue to work well. Now, the Mercury-Mars sextile is going to be building all day long. The second round of it is not going to go exact until the evening time. But again, we're going to be putting a lot of things in motion. And some of what we deal with in the morning time is overcoming our own fear of insecurity. We have to let go of this frustration of like, I don't know if I'm going to be doing the right thing. I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know if this is going to go well. And sometimes you just have to take the step out the door. You just have to make the first phone call. You have to go to that first meeting. You got to do that first thing to prove to yourself that you're not an imposter. You don't need to succumb to imposter syndrome. That's where I was going with that. That you are taking the right steps forward, and you just got to get over the nervousness in the morning. Again, Pluto is going to be in that square to the moon. By the time we get through lunch, it's not even that big of a deal anymore. As we continue into the afternoon between 4 and 6 p.m., I got this now at 4:30, the moon is going to go through a square with Mercury as Mercury is hitting that sextile to Mars. Now, Mercury and Mars are not exact yet, but we're still in it. And a lot of the moon hitting the square to Mercury feels like some questioning of the plan, or it feels like permission. Why do I say that? As soon as we get into the square from the moon to Mercury, Mercury's off the 4-degree mark, babies. He's moving forward. He's trying to get going. We're trying to get something going. We're trying to motivate ourselves. We're trying to do something with the idea that we want a fast result. And this is why we need the motivation and why we need the questioning and the need and the guidance. Now, a lot of people, given that the moon is going to hit this square to Mercury, it's going through what's called a quincunx or an in conjunction to Mars. We're asking someone to do something that they've never done before. We're asking a lot of people to try something they've never thought of before. They've never been a part of before. They don't know how it's going to go. They might need a few days to think about it. And again, we have Mercury sextile to Mars. This is the second of the three, but literally next week on the 18th, we hit the third one. So they're in this sextile vibration of Mercury and Mars all weekend. Some people, you're going to ask them to do some things they've never done before. And they're literally just going to be like, well, give me a day or two to think about it, and I'll get back to you. Do not take that with insecurity. Give them time to think about it and just keep going. Call the next person, go to the next appointment, do the next drop off, do the next stop by, go to the next one, the next one, the next one. Keep doing the busyness in whatever part of the activity is for you, because there's a busyness going on. Because again, we want to solidify some people into things that they've never done. Now, will we be met with stubborn energy? Absolutely. We're talking about moon in Taurus. That's a fixed sign. Mercury in Leo. That's a fixed sign. But we have Venus in that cardinal sign. So a lot of people are willing to try something new. They just need time to think about it. And I'm only bringing up Venus because, again, Venus and the moon are in mutual reception. Understand that some people are going to need time to think about things that they've never tried before, that they've never done before. Make your pitch. Give them the moment. Don't touch it. Let them do whatever they need to do. All right, moving along. All day, we're building to that Mercury-Mars sextile. It is going to go the most exact through a couple of hours, through a couple of degrees, and you can kind of see it right here. Between 8:27 p.m. and 10:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you have Mercury here, 5 degrees, 4 minutes. Here's Mars, 5 degrees, 4 minutes. They will stay in a sextile exact between 5:4, 5:5, and 5:6. So it's a good 2.5 hours that these two are doing their vibration. And there's, again, going to be a lot of mental energy of what we're trying to take forward, what we're trying to do. And if we're having our minds really spinning, or if we're talking about a lot of different things with a lot of different people, we're communicating a lot of different things with a lot of different people, there's a reason for the busyness. There's a reason for the energy to take certain actions, even if you can't take them all at night. We're building to this all day. So there's going to be a busyness all day in that vibration, mental energy, communicative energy, written energy. Be aware of that. Now, we're going to get into the 15th. The moon is still going to be in Taurus all day long once we're getting into the 15th. In the early morning hours between 8 and 10 a.m., I'll get this to 8:30, the moon is going to hit that sextile to Jupiter. This is not harsh energy. This is actually very, very helpful energy. It's soothing energy. It's comforting energy. It offers support. It offers guidance. It's getting that check in with the doctor, the guru, the teacher, getting some type of additional information, taking some additional things into consideration. There is some level of guidance when the moon hits the sextile to Jupiter. Whenever we get into the afternoon, the moon is going to hit the sextile to Venus. That's going to happen between 2 and 4:30. So I got it right now at the 2:30 mark. Here is the moon 1751. Here's Venus at 1816. Since Venus is moving, I'm giving a little bit of a bigger window as to like how their exactness is going to be felt. So I'm giving a 2.5 hour window on that one. Whatever happens in the morning can still feed into the evening time because we had that Venus Jupiter conjunction in the early week. A lot of the transits that have impacted Jupiter and Venus simultaneously have fed into something. And this feels like that final round of these two's vibration speaking together, but it's a sextile. So it's not even harsh energy. So it's like, you get the first confirmations of, yeah, we'll try something out. Yeah, we're going to do something. Yeah, we're considering it. And getting some type of idea of something forward, getting, again, something scheduled, getting some level of a result, giving somebody a taste of something, a sample of something, an idea of how something is going to go. And it's like, if you can get them convinced, you get them on the same page, because again, Mercury and Mars are still in their sextile. That ain't done yet. It's like we are getting confirmation that somebody will overcome fear and step into some new things. Now, as the evening progresses, between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., so this is going to be something that takes us from Friday night into Saturday, we get our last quarter moon. So here is the moon, 23 degrees, 11 minutes. Here is the sun, 23:34. This actually goes exact right around that midnight hour. So this is going to be something that, again, starts on the 15th, but boom, takes us into the 16th. So I want to explain this on both dates. When it comes to this energy, this is a wind down. Anytime we have a last quarter moon, it is a wind down. And this is the wind down that's moving us into eclipse season. That's moving us into that new moon in Virgo. That's moving us into this new idea, this new position, and this new change. Be aware of that. And as we continue throughout the day, we're going to have a lot more busy like vibration that's going to be coming through. And a lot of people are going to feel something overnight from the 15th into the 16th that solidifies that we're doing the right thing, that we need to be going in a certain direction, that we need to settle down, that we need to focus on something new. It's a very nice vibration. Now, again, overnight hours, this is going to be starting on the 15th, continuing into the 16th. So you're going to see that window going into both rounds. And now we're going to keep this going to about 11:30, because at 11:01 a.m. Central Standard Time, the moon is going to go into Gemini. The moon is going to go into Mercury's sign. Remember, Mercury is in a sextile to Mars. Now, whenever the moon goes into Mercury's sign, there's a shift of knowledge, a shift of conversation, a shift of the planning, a shift of information. There's a shift, but I don't mean this in the negative sense. And there's going to be a lot of conversations, a lot more planning, a lot more busyness going on. And it feels like we're going to, even over the course of the weekend, have our first rounds of like confirmation of certain things once the moon goes into Mercury's sign, just as much as we're going to have the next round and the bigger round going out of like, I want to go here, go here, go here, communicate this, get this going, take this action, move this into place, move this here, very busy and busy body vibration once the moon goes into Gemini. It's going to be a very, very different, but it's taking us forward into something. And there's a lot of excitement in the idea of something new moving forward. So much of weighted vibration is falling away that now we're going to start to realize what we're stepping into. Because as soon as the moon goes into Gemini, the moon's going to reactivate some of those prior transits that go back to the full moon in Aquarius. I'm going to do that here in a second. But what I love is the fact that the moon is going to hit that conjunction to Uranus after the Uranus-Saturn sextile. And there's a lot more mental awareness of the exciting new thing we're willing to do, the unexpected new thing that's going to be coming through. And it might not be unexpected to you, it can be unexpected to other people, but it's a part of the plan. It's a part of the conversation. It's a part of the busy work that we're going into. So let's continue. The moon is now in Gemini. Now, as soon as the moon goes into Gemini, it is going to go through a sextile from Saturn. So here's Saturn, 0 degrees, 58 minutes. Here is the moon, 0 degrees, 17 minutes. That's going to be felt the most exact between 11:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. Between 12 and 2. So I'm going to bump this an hour. That is whenever the moon is going to start its actual conjunction to Uranus. This is actually going to go more exact right around the 1 p.m. standpoint. And as soon as it starts its conjunction to Uranus, it's also going through a sextile to Neptune. You see how I'm very quickly, it's going bing, 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 bing. This is why I keep saying it's going to get busy. We're going to do this, confirm this, go here, do this. Some things will be unexpected. When the moon hits that conjunction to Uranus is unexpected. For some people, it is going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting parts of the vibration. And it's going to, for some people, excitement can lead to confusion because Neptune's still involved. For other people, it's going to trigger fear like, oh crap, what am I doing? Why did I agree to do this? Why did I think this is a good idea? And there can still be some insecurities in that regard because between 1:30 and 3:30, we also get the trine from Pluto in this mix again. So for so many people, whatever the new that is coming through, whatever that new is in the vibration, it's like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm okay with that. I'm really solid with not doing this anymore. And now I want to try this. And this is super exciting. Oh, and you're going to let me try this. And oh, you're totally on board with this. Holy crap. I wasn't expecting that. Now what? It's like the puppy that just caught the ball. I don't know what to do with the ball. I don't know what to do with it next. I don't know what to do. I just cat that caught the mouse. I don't know what to do with it next. And there can be that energy with Neptune that it's like, oh, now what? I'm confused. I don't know. I didn't think I'd get this far. And then we got that rush of Pluto going, oh crap, I didn't think I'd get this far. I didn't think anyone would go with this. I didn't, oh crap, now I'm scared. That was really fast. The roller coaster of mental energy. It's not necessarily emotional, it's the mental energy. And there can be a lot of mental anxiety of, whoo, oh, I didn't know we would do that. I didn't know it would go that way. I didn't know that would happen. I didn't know that would break. I didn't know what I didn't know. And that's fair. That's fair. If we go through some kind of like roller coaster of communication or mental energy in the morning, going into the afternoon of Saturday, that part would not surprise me. But once we get past the roller coaster part of it, I think we're okay. I think it's going to be okay. I still think that we're in a busy energy. I think there's still going to be a lot of communication to be had. And there's a lot of things that speak to like putting some plans in action or announcing some plans. And that could be the bigger part of it. We can be announcing some plans. We did get the confirmation. And now we get into this evening time. Now, this is going to be felt the most exact, basically between 8 and 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I'm giving a bigger window. So I got this now at 9:30. The moon is going to hit a sextile to Mercury and a trine to Mars simultaneously. Mercury and Mars are in their energy of a sextile that went exact on the 14th, but is going to go exact again on the 18th. And some people are going to be talking about right here about, oh yeah, I've been working on this the last few days and I just got my first booking. I just made my first appointment. I just made my first sale. I just did this first thing. And it could be expressing with the moon what's going on. For other people, you can be getting the expressions back of like what they've been doing. Oh, yeah, we've been doing this right here. We've been car shopping. We've been going to this place. We've been looking at this and we've been busy all weekend. And I think we're getting close to a decision. We haven't fully made the decision yet, but we're getting close to something right now. That's fantastic. I'm so happy for you. I threw a car thing in there too, because we are still talking about the moon in Gemini. Mercury can have to do with, as much as it can do with communication, it can also do with transportation. And I haven't really been very heavy on that. So some people, the busyness would be like, we're going car shopping. I'm like, okay, great. Let's be exact. And there's still a busyness in the vibration. There's still things that are being communicated. And I feel like there's a heightenedness in the busybody work all through the 16th. I'm being clear about that. We're getting into the 17th, and this is hilarious. We go into the 17th. The moon is separating from its sextile to Mercury. It's trine to Mars, but we already did that. That was a part of Saturday. We've already had the exact sextile between Saturn and Uranus. We're either in the process all day on Sunday of building up an energy, building up a vibration, or we're releasing a vibration. The moon will be in Gemini all day long. The good thing is about with the moon in Gemini is that Mercury is finally moving and starting to go back over some of the areas of the sky where he's already had some ruckus, where he's already had some things going on. There can be themes again in the communication that go back all the way to June that is setting us up for this. Part of what we can be communicating all day throughout the 17th can be some of the plans of what we're going to start doing new once we get into the new moons in Virgo, which we are days away from now. This is the 17th. The first new moon in Virgo is going to be the 23rd. So there's going to be a lot of mental planning, but whenever it comes to direct transits, when it comes to the 17th, babies, there are none. There are none. There are no direct transits to the 17th. So it feels like for a lot of people, the 17th is going to be a carryover from whatever was happening on the 16th, because there's a lot of mental energy there. Some people you're going to get into Sunday and be like, you did so much busy work throughout the week that it's not that you're not still working on it on Sunday. It's just like part of you got to go, okay, I need a break. I need to wrap my head around some things. I need to process what has happened. I need to really consider what I'm doing moving forward. But this doesn't feel heavy. This doesn't feel emotional. It doesn't feel negative. It feels motivational. And there is a reason in recent weeks that we needed to reconsider who we've been dealing with, who we were working with, what we were responsible for, what we were doing before, what we were committing to before. Because very quickly, once Mercury goes direct, we're going to realize there's a reason we didn't need to do that anymore. And it literally starts to unfold this week so quickly. And by the time we get into next week, we're going to get into that first new moon in Virgo. That's going to happen on the 23rd. And that's also going to coincide with Mercury leaving shadow. This is going to be a very quick walk of shame for Mercury. And that's a good thing. The fast energy that follows, the new energy that's following, the new direction that's following, the things we can finally put into place. Some of us have just been waiting on Mercury to go direct to finally go out and meet people, finally go out and do that other thing. Some of us, you needed the entire Mercury retrograde, and you needed that vibration at the end of Mars hitting the opposition to Saturn and Neptune, hitting the trines from Uranus and Pluto, letting you know that you needed to be the fire-breathing dragon and cut something off and cut someone off. But as soon as the cutoff is real, as soon as it is understood, as soon as it goes through, for some people, it was last week. For other people, it might still be a part of the Monday, Tuesday vibration of this week. But once we get into Wednesday, we feel that transition. We feel that vibration shift. We feel our mental energy shift, and we feel why it was necessary to not do certain things the same way we were anymore. Logic takes over. Our mental energy takes over. Our ability to communicate our desire takes over. Because again, we're shifting into something very, very new very quickly. And we've been building to this new, whether you realized it or not, whether you listened to me or not, since June. Because I started saying it in June. Whatever we're doing right now, in the month of June, whatever we're doing right now, it's setting us up for Mercury retrograde, and it's setting us up for eclipse season. Well, we start this week with Mercury no longer being retrograde. And it is taking us into that first new moon in Virgo that will happen next week. Very, very quickly, we're communicating things, we're planning things, we're notating things, we're documenting things, we're scheduling things, we're moving something into place for the next new part of our vibration. And this movement will be going on for a while. It will solidify by the time we get to it, the end of eclipse season, that second new moon in Virgo. We're in a long-term vibration of things. And I hope people are going into this week with a lot better understanding as to what you need to be doing and what you don't need to be doing anymore. Don't hold on to the things that you don't need to hold on to. Because some of you are so resistant to change. You're like, no, I love my trauma. I'm going to hold on to it forever. I want it forever. It's my emotional support trauma. That is no such thing. Let it go. Okay? Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And realize that we have new things we're stepping into, that we're willing to solidify. And it is a time period of transition. And the reason I keep harping about how important this transition is going to be is because, in my opinion, and I haven't said this until now on the podcast, I've said it to individual signs, but not necessarily to everyone in the collective. This upcoming eclipse season is important. It is the most important one for this particular axis. Why do I say that? Because it's the only eclipse season that we're having with this axis where we get a Pisces eclipse and a Virgo eclipse simultaneously. Last fall, we had a Pisces out of sign eclipse. Next fall, we will get our final Pisces eclipse. It's going to happen in August. We don't have a new moon in Pisces at all this time. So this upcoming season, all of August is preparing us for where we're going to be having our shift and change into something new in eclipse season. And that is going to be all of September. By the time we get to the end of this week, we're halfway through August. The transition is necessary. And again, this upcoming eclipse season for this part of the axis, North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo, it is arguably the most important one. Whenever it comes to the Pisces side, we learned a year ago that we desired something, that we needed something, that we wanted something, but we were not ready for it then. And all of the energy, the roller coaster of the last year is letting us know we're getting closer to something, and it's almost time for something or someone to come through. And we've been preparing for this timeline for over a year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good week. We have purpose to this week, so be aware of that. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I will talk to everybody very, very soon. Subscribe.